good afternoon and welcome to Thursday, September 22nd, 2022 Capital Investment Committee meeting. Open with approval of the minutes. First of all, roll call, Alderman Blanton.
Here.
Alderman Brown.
Here.
Alderman Hanson is absent, and Alderman Berger, I am here as well. So 3 out of 4 of us are here. Approval of minutes, consideration, number 1, consideration of approval of minutes for the August 25th, 2022 CIP meeting. May I have a motion?
Move to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderman Berger, yes. Thank you. We'll move on to new business. Number 2, consideration of draft for Kiewit change order number 11 to City of Franklin contract 2017-0264, the Kiewit Infrastructure South Company for the water reclamation facility modifications and expansion project for a net increase of $379,849.
So this is these are all monies that are within the contingency. We're mostly doing the work inside buildings now, and it's a lot of things that we're finding probably needed to be changed. Some of the existing equipment that needs to be upgraded. As we're taking down basins, we've not been able to do that before. So since we're taking it down, we might as well upgrade, a gearbox or those types of things. We have about $400,000 left of contingency left. And then we have
This?
after this, yes.
After this. Yeah.
And then there's other things that we'll be deducting from the contract as well. So they have about $150,000 worth of additional engineering reviews that we'll be recapturing back as well. That'll be added to this. We just haven't taken those final amounts yet.
All right, do I have a motion for recommending the change order?
Move to approve.
Second?
All right, any other discussion, any other questions? Michelle? All right, all in favor, Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderman Berger, yes. Passes 3-0. Thank you. We'll go to item number 3. Consideration of the City of Franklin contract 2022-0217 with C&T Engineering for water reclamation facility liquid equipment maintenance service.
So this is one where it's small enough to have gone for Eric's approval, but actually wanted to bring it here because we anticipate potentially having amendments to this to make it over that amount. We talked with one of our consultants, our inspection consultants, who helps us quite a bit. So we've had a position of maintenance technician position open at the wastewater plant for over a year now, and we've not been able to fill it. And we were hoping with the compensation study we would have had that. We've not had any luck. And so we have all this new equipment at the plant that we need to maintain. And all the operators, is a different note. We're having trouble filling staff, so they're all running around. And this is where we've asked someone to kind of help us work through some of those maintenance things and getting some of those schedules started and to get us on the right track. So this is what the initial amount would be. And if we can't fill the position in a timely manner, we anticipate probably, needing some more, having another amendment.
So the amount is not on the
Yeah, it's about
description.
$32,000 right now.
Got it. 31.2. Cool.
Seems like a nominal amount to protect our investment we've just made in that place. So, yeah, good.
Do you have a motion?
Move to approve?
Second.
All right, any other discussion or questions on this matter? All right, may I have a vote? Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderman Berger, yes. Thank you. We'll move to, as long as my computer is working, we'll move to item number 4. Wait a minute. Yeah, number 4, sorry. Consideration of City of Franklin contract 2022-0237, a joint funding agreement between U.S. Geological Survey, Lower Mississippi Gulf Water Science Center, and the City of Franklin.
So these are for the river gauges we have on the Harpeth River. The one at the Forest Crossing Golf Course that allows us to withdraw. It's the one that we monitor. It's in our budget. It's a standard agreement that we have. We just renew it every year. So USGS maintains those gauges, and we just provide for some of that since we get some ancillary benefit from it as well.
Can I have a motion?
Move to approve?
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Brandy Matt Show.
Michelle, how accurate have they been on monitoring this?
They're fairly, they are accurate. So the way that they have the data presented is it's actually preliminary data initially, and then it gets calibrated and verified like a week later. So we base our withdrawal off of the preliminary data, and we add in a little kind of conservative values in there, but we seem to be hitting the mark most of it.
Most of it? Okay, I just want to make sure that was. All right, may I have the vote? Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderman Berger? Yes. Thank you. Passes 3-0. Moving on to item number 5. Consideration of draft City of Franklin contract 2022-0246 with Heathcote and Davis for the Meadows Pump Station Engineering Report in the amount of $32,226.
So this one is every year we do pump station evaluations on all of our 29 pump stations to make sure that they're operating, the pumps are operating efficiently, and make sure the station's not about to fall down. Kind of just simple electrical issues that we might be able to find. Last year we had another consultant do one on the Meadows pump station, and they recommended some design considerations. And so this is a design report to where we can look at whether we can remove the station entirely or whether we can replace it at a different location. It's one of our older stations, so it's due for some sort of rehab. We're just trying to kind of narrow down and figure out what that might be.
May I have a motion first for discussion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, any discussion on this matter? How often does this been breaking down? Quite often?
No,
Yeah.
the station is actually is performing decently. It's
is?
just a little bit less efficient than it should be.
And we think it needs to be replaced?
That's one of the options is replacing the impellers on the pumps. With the SCADA system, we can see kind of the trends of when things start to degrade a little bit.
And this is already in the budget?
So it's not in the budget, but I actually have kind of a buffer for emergency projects like this
Got
of
it.
$400,000. So this is going to fall into that amount
So this is just the design, this is
Yeah.
just the information gathering that you're
Yeah.
doing on this one.
to see. And so next year would be the actual design if we move toward
Okay.
that way.
Yeah.
So we're at 32,226, okay. All right, all in favor, Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderman Berger? Yes. All right, we'll move to item number 6. Consideration of draft amendment 8 to the City of Franklin contract 2011-0129, TDOT agreement number 110291 for the Franklin IT extension and the adapted signal control technology projects to replace Exhibit A and
back from the state. And we're also, as a part of getting that extension from TDOT, they typically ask us to update the Exhibit A, which is the funding breakdown, now that we have a new construction estimate for the ITS extension project. So if you recall, the ITS extension project and the adaptive signal project are both covered. They're separate PIN numbers, but they're covered under that same grant. So we've completed the adaptive signal project, and now we're getting ready to go to construction as soon as we receive the reevaluation on NEPA for the ITS extension project. It's a much smaller project and involves basically several locations for cameras. Some of them are upgrades and new poles, and there's a couple of new camera locations, and then a fiber connectivity between the existing fiber at Cool Springs Boulevard, east of I-65 and west of I-65. Basically, our existing fiber optic network comes to both sides of I-65 and stops, so we're going to connect that fiber optic. It's about a $500,000 project, give or take. It's what's left of the grant. So as soon as we get the NEPA reevaluation, we'll send that out for bids.
So we're looking for,
do you have a motion, please?
I'm sorry, move to approve.
Second.
All right, Alderman Brown.
And so we're looking for a year extension so that we don't see this thing just stop on us.
That's
So-
correct.
Good.
Okay. Well, those 19 intersections, does that by any chance include McEwen at Aspen Grove? Going into the new north side McEwen development?
No, it does not.
So in order to get that fixed, we just need Adam to do that, right? I've gotten a lot of complaints on that one lately. Yeah.
We can certainly look at it and see if that makes sense.
I'll talk to you after the meeting,
Yep.
if you don't mind waiting for a second. Okay.
Perfect.
All right, any other discussion? Alderman Brown, or Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderman Berger, yes. Thank you very much. All right, we are down to item number 7, which is the capital projects dashboard and status updates for September 2022.
So just a handful of updates, obviously, the biggest one being the Franklin Road back open for that temporary closure we had and the partial lane closure. We got that open about 2 days earlier than we expected. Contractor was able to complete the work they expected to be able to do, so they did get the lane pulled out and replaced. They got that work done. They actually were able to work a little bit ahead of what they thought and got some of the catch basin work done, so that put them a little bit ahead of schedule from what we thought they were going to be. We also got the signal activated, or at least partially activated, at Old Liberty Pike, so it's in flash right now. We're going to activate that sometime next week. I believe it's Monday or Tuesday one. I have to check with Adam and his team on that one. So we will put that back in operation
The one
next
at
week.
Lancaster there? Yeah.
One at Lancaster and
Yeah,
Old Liberty,
and Old
correct.
Liberty.
So we'll put that one in operation. We just wanted to wait until after pilgrimage to do that in case anything were to pop up. We don't want to have that happening during this weekend while we've
Yeah.
got crazy traffic patterns. So we'll put that in operation. A couple of other projects we've got right now, Harlansdale, the trail and pedestrian bridge in Harlansdale. It's a multimodal grant project or Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP grant, federal grant. That one is actually out for construction bids right now. We did get a notice to proceed from TDOT, so that one is actually out for bids. It's about the middle of the bid period. We're going to open those bids, and we've had several contractors pick up. We'll open those bids October 12th. So that one's moving along. We actually had another notice to proceed. We received that from TDOT last Friday for the State Route 96, so between Arno Road and Eddy Lane, those 13 intersections where we're doing those various traffic signal improvements, whether it's upgrading the cabinets, upgrading detection, doing flashing yellow arrows at certain intersections, doing connected vehicles. So some of the things Adam talked to you about a few months ago, that project has now received notice to proceed, so we're going to advertise that in a couple of weeks. We expected that to hit the streets in first weekend or the first week of October, and opening bids the first week of November on that one. So we have several projects coming to fruition and at least coming to bids right now, so.
We're close on Bicentennial Park too, right?
That one is coming closer, and that one's going through planning commission process right now.
Good.
And as soon as that gets through that process, we will put that out to bid.
Nice.
Any other discussion, any other things? All right.
Wait, how's Margaret's Bridge coming?
That one, we actually have contracts back, and I understand our right-of-way agent in the Water Management Department has been helping us with that, where we've been working on and focusing on McEwen and Jordan Road, some other larger projects. He has talked to the two property owners we're actually acquiring easements from on that project, and he has verbals from both of those property owners. Middle Tennessee Electric is working with one other property owner that only requires an electrical easement. They thought they were good to go, but it turned out they've told them no at the very last minute. So we're reworking a little bit of what they required on that. I think we're going to be able to work it out in existing easements. So actually working out well. The short story is going well on that. So as soon as we get those easements signed, the plans are in good shape. That one's, we don't want to really wait for anybody's approval on that one. So we will go through TDOT to get their approval because we are touching their bridge on their roadway, but it's not waiting for any kind of funding or evaluation or anything like that. So we'll just get permits from them. So that one actually is moving forward at this point.
All right, I have another question, totally off the subject. As you go across the new Charles Sargent Memorial Junior Bridge, I've noticed, and I don't know what they're called, but those concrete things that are to keep traffic.
Parapet rails?
Sure. Is that the best that we're gonna do on that bridge forever? I mean, I feel like, and I don't mean to throw anybody under the bus, and I hope Steve doesn't call me and say you should have called me, but I feel like even that bridge, the roadway, it doesn't feel complete. It feels, as you smile at me, I think the road feels like it's been there for about 25 years. I think the finishes look piecemealed, and I don't know if we're waiting for when we ever expand that road to go back and kind of beautify that, but.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Okay, because if you look at other projects that we do or that they've done, they're just, the finished product looks so much better, and this just looks half.
The ultimate plan for that roadway is when the other two lanes go in, they'll build another bridge that's very similar to that one next to it. It'll be to
Okay.
the north side of that. And that barrier rail will come out at that point, the barrier rail that divides the pedestrian
And what will go up instead?
It'll actually be, they'll actually pour the sidewalk at that point. So right now, you're walking, when you're walking or biking on that side, you're actually walking on the bridge deck surface. You'll actually get the 6-inch slab, or it'll be 6-inch in the curb. They'll actually pour that slab there where it's meant to be. That's why if you walk next, most people don't notice it, but when you're
I haven't
walking.
walked it, but I've driven
If you're
it.
walking it or you're biking on that side, you'll notice that the outside by the railing on the outside where you would walk, it's a little bit higher. The
Yeah,
reason it's higher on the
noticed that.
outside is because there will be sidewalk poured out there in the future.
Okay.
So it'll be elevated. When we do that, there'll actually be a more decorative rail on the inside for traffic. TDOT staff was adamant that we have some sort of barrier there, and there needs to be a barrier there temporarily
course,
while there's
for
pedestrians. So what they came up with was temporary barrier rail, and what's out there is exactly the same, I mean, literally the same barrier rail that they would put up on a construction site.
Absolutely, it's painted, that's
It's,
about
they
it.
actually painted it and resurfaced it, so they did resurface it. You should have seen it when they first put it out there.
So was there ever a top coat poured on the bridge? Because it just feels really rough, like
They actually did.
we've been through a couple of winter storms and some salt trucks.
They actually did grind it, so when they do an initial pour, and then they did grind it, so that's why it's kind of rough looking. It's for traction and for drainage purposes, so they actually did have a grinder come all the way across it for those purposes exactly, to grind it and give you better traction across the bridge and better surface. And then they striped it. For whatever reason, when they striped it, I guess just poor time of the year, the striping did not adhere good, and then immediately afterward, like you just said, we had a couple of snowstorms, or a couple of ice storms, however you want to put it, down here in the south. And then the striping pulled up. I agree the striping needs to be redone, and we've mentioned that to our two partners at TDOT, because there's several spots on McCatcher where the striping is coming up or
I just don't feel like
deteriorating.
the finished product was up to our standards at all.
Well,
We would agree with that.
and while we're at it, what about all the barrels at the end of McCatcher and over where it hits West Haven over there? Like, it just feels like we got this beautiful new roadway, and if we're waiting for the rest of
We-
McCatcher, we got 50 years to go.
We
so.
actually requested the barrels. So the reason the barrels are there, that normally when TDOT does a project, they call it a logical termini when they end a project for a state route. A logical termini, and I'll explain that. So when they build a project from scratch, they always want the project to start and end at a logical point. So typically a logical point means I want it to start at a state route and end at a state route, or start at a roadway, end at a roadway. And what this particular project, you know that it goes about a quarter of a mile into West Haven. Normally, the state would never build that little tail. They would want to build to 96. That's where the project should have stopped in TDOT's eyes. We requested that to go to Townsend Boulevard, with the idea that Townsend would be complete when McCatcher was opened. Well, Townsend's still not complete today. So when the project was open, we did not want people just continually circling down there, going down in there. We assumed, I think rightfully so, that we would eventually get complaints from the neighborhood. People would probably dump things down there. People would be down there for nefarious purposes. We just wanted to eliminate that, eliminate the confusion of people getting in those through lanes to drive straight through. We actually requested that TDOT put the barrels out there, and they actually declined the initial offer to do that, but they did provide us the barrels as long as we would maintain them. So they kind of partnered with us on that. So the barrels that are at our request, we purchased the other half of the barrels. They gave us about 100 barrels, I believe. So that is actually at our request that we did that, until Townsend Boulevard is open and that connection is made.
And how long out from that?
We were told when it was first opened, the Townsend Boulevard connection was going to be made, and this was from the West Haven developer, about 8 or 9 months when it was first made. But now we're 8 or 9 months away, and if you drive out there, that connection is nowhere near to being made. So that would be a question for the West Haven developer.
It'd be worth to consider, I mean, if you've got it blocked on the other side of 96, I'm not sure you got to block out those lanes. I mean, you clearly can't go forward, but it just looks, for as beautiful as it is, the new trail and all that, you just pull up there, and every time I pull up there, I know, right? It'd be nice to have our,
Part of the issue is when people pull up in those lanes, though, the signal detectors pick them up, and it unnecessarily will pick them up and call timing to those signal heads. So it'll pull the through signal up, and if somebody's sitting there, somebody parks there, somebody breaks down there, somebody leaves their vehicle there, it will pull those signal calls up, and it'll unnecessarily delay 96 if they're parked in those lanes.
We can contact West Haven and see if they have a schedule and get
That'd
that
be
there
great.
to
Okay.
at least keep y'all
Can you
informed.
contact TDOT and tell them that needs to look prettier?
We would agree with you. I just thought you were very observant to pick up on that. I don't
Yes.
think the average person would have.
Well,
But we
it
agreed with
means
you.
a little bit to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussions? All right, do I have a motion?
To adjourn.
Seconded.
All right, Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderman Berger, yes, we are adjourned. Thank you. All right.
That.